This is the presentation that I gave at the Transfer School Conference at the end of last school year in New York City. Transfer schools in New York City, if you're not familiar with it, are schools where students are overaged and undercredited, and this is their basically last chance to get a genuine high school diploma. And it's a challenging population because they already have issues with formal education. The biggest one is going to be attendance, and there are skills issues and the norms that norm behaviors that make us successful in a traditional school. So it's a challenging population, and in order to address that and try to have the students get as much success as they possibly can, I use an online learning system, and I'm a really big proponent of it. I don't think it just refers to transfer school students, but it is a good tool to use for them. This is a picture of two of my students in one of my classes. So I start the presentation off by discussing how I break down the semester or trimester. In the transfer school, we have trimesters into individual modules, and these modules help the students have like a chunk at a time, so they know, okay, I have this chunk, this module one, and all of the work is in there, and I have X amount of time to finish what's in this module, and then we move on to the next module. So the idea is that the modules give some flexibility, meaning that you or I am going to give all of the readings and assignments and assessments for one entire module all at once, along with the resulting lessons, etc. And the students don't have a daily lesson necessarily, but they can work their way through what is in the module in their own time. So it's just in time learning, basically. And I explained that when I was giving this presentation about how there is an overview of the entire module, so students aren't kept in the dark. And we're focusing mostly on enhancing skills. So it's not necessarily things that have to build one on top of each other, though of course skills do. It's that these modules are within chunks, so shorter readings, focusing on the skills rather than an entire Shakespearean play per se, let's say. Other things I gave, it was geared towards English teachers or liberal arts teachers, though I do have other teachers in other areas who have adopted using the learning management system, in particular math class and also a theater class. But for this presentation, it's focused on English history, that focus. So I suggest mixing different kinds of reading genres, meaning short stories, poems, articles, to that extent. All of the readings should be available online, and they should be things that can be completed on the student on their own. Also, what I'm doing right now is a screencasting, and that you support the individual mini lessons with screencasting. And also, you can use it for students to do their own screencasting so they can become teachers themselves. In this presentation, I talked about the LMS that I use, which is Schoology, and why that I feel it is a good tool to use. Well, it's free, so that was number one. You can get mobile access. There's Google Docs integration. You can have a variety of different educational apps, etc. Though this in and of itself is not the only free LMS, and I give other examples. So there's something for everybody if they want to take a look at it. And here is an example of student work and what it looks like in Schoology. This is a class discussion, and the student's assignment is to respond to some analytical type question, and then they have to read the other students' responses and reply. So a normal class discussion online. And as you can see, sometimes some of the students get a little snarky, and they put in some memes too, which is supported. But it's a way for the students to interact with each other, of course, but also, again, the transfer school students are not showing up to school every day. Sometimes they're gone for weeks at a time, but this still allows them to be a part of a class. And this is just an example why I tell teachers that it's not just about the students, it's also about the teachers, because this organizes your work very easily, and you can see what students have done, the work, who has not, what their grade is. It's just a really good way to keep organized for yourself and also for the students. If you work in a transfer school, if you teach in a transfer school, you're going to have the students several times a day. I haven't been here in 2 weeks. What do I need to make up? You know what? You should download the app on your phone, the Schoology app, and that's where the work is. And that's always going to be my reply. And they catch on really fast. There's no work that you come and pick up, or for me to start hunting for papers. Everything is right there for you, including the lessons, the assessments, etc. So it does put the ownership back on the student. And that's another reason why I support using an LMS. I also then gave a survey. I always give surveys out to my students, asking them a variety of questions. I only pulled out a few of them. What do you like most about Web Enhanced classes? And you can see that these are unedited student responses. I didn't even correct the lowercase I, something that drives me nuts. And I try to get them to not do that. But overall, I get a lot of positive feedback from the students. Small amount of negative feedback, but they are overwhelmingly see the value in having class online. Here are some things where, what do you like least about it? And a lot of things are not necessarily connected straight to the fact that the class is online. It's like a time test. They don't like a time test. So, though it does bring up a legitimate concern, what if I don't have any online access at home? Well, I always give the standard reply. There are free libraries throughout New York City, pretty conveniently located, like every other block. And so even Mickey D's has free Wi-Fi. And it's rare that a student is without a smartphone, and Schoology has an app. There's always an answer for everything. And for the last slide, learner experiences, what advice would you give? And again, there's a lot of positive feedback. So this was the presentation I gave last year. I'll give another presentation if they'll have me this year, but it would be a little bit more focused on cross-curriculum development using the online learning management system. So thank you for listening.